So today I would like to talk about a little bit about the spells that are happening right now with the dark forces. The word Hamas literally means, it's a word in either it's kind of Hebrew but also Aramaic. Like it's a word from the Bible. It means literally violence. So when people are shouting that word, when people are repeating that word, when people are giving their emotions and support and love and attention to that, they are not only feeding that thought form, right? Because every word, everything we create is a thought form as well. And they are literally choosing. It doesn't matter if they're not conscious of it or not, but they chose violence. And it's not violence for the sake of freedom. It's not violence for the sake of, it's just pure violence for the sake of violence. That's literally what it is. As I always say, the dark has no real power of its own. The dark forces, the evil forces. So the shadow. So it needs life force to harness from the light. That is why, by the way, every time you see a demonic entity, every time you know when it's a demonic entity involved, when there's rape of women and children, because they need to harness that sexual life force from children and women, because women are life. We are the life force. And they don't really get that from men. They can get blood from men, but that's very different. The specifically sexual energy, I talked about this so much in the last few years, specifically sexual energy from children, which hold within them the energy of imagination, which helps them create whatever reality, as well as from women, which gives them the life force to create itself, for creation itself. So it's funny how, also not funny unfortunately, but how just like the other evil terrorist group, ISIS, they both had to take their name even from light. So because they have no real power, right? So ISIS is a very pure goddess. My school is called the Sex Magic School of Isis and Lilith. And the word Hamas means violence, but they had to take it from the original language. One of the original languages, Hebrew and Aramaic are not the original languages, but they still hold the codes for light, with light. Other languages that came after are kind of like, especially English. English is kind of a dead language. So there are a few languages that are alive that have that life force still in them, and some languages don't. But I'm not going to get into that rabbit hole right now. I just wanted to make a point. So Hamas has received, I know I'm going to sound also a little bit political here, but these are facts that I have to bring in order to also explain the spiritual side of things. So please bear with me and have an open mind. I beg of you to these days more than ever, we need to do the true research. Also find out where you're going to get your research, because 90% of what you see online is lies and manipulation. So you really have to find the right sources to get your truth, as well as using your own discernment, which is the most important thing at the end of the day. So Hamas has received billions of dollars, which we now know haven't gone to the people, and they didn't even only go to weapons and to pay their mercenaries, because every Hamas person is a mercenary. Make no mistakes. They make money specifically from every person they kill and every person they kidnap, as well as Palestinian people, which work with the Hamas, and they make money from, that's why the Hamas doesn't give them the money. They want them to be poor. They want to keep them slaves, so that they make them mercenaries of the darkness. So you go to Israel, you kill someone, I give you money, or I give you a house. That's how it works. So it's fucking insane. And their leaders they don't even live in Palestine. They live, I don't even want to say the word Palestine, because it's a lie. I don't speak lies. I speak the truth. There is no such a place. There is no such history. I'm going to say the people of Gaza. The people of Gaza, which have been suffering a lot because of the Hamas. So much. Where was I? And so even their leaders, the Hamas leaders, they live in very, very rich mansions outside of Gaza. They live like in Qatar, and I forgot the other place, but they have like big mansions and stuff. So just look at the darkness. Look at like what's happening here. Like look at the players involved. Okay. But we know and see how this money, right now we can see, I mean, I can see it very clearly, I don't know about you, but it very clearly went, all these billions of dollars, probably trillions at this time, at this moment, went to this heavy online propaganda machinery that we're seeing since October 7th, which is created brilliantly to cause anger towards Israel and the Jews in order to continue this war going on and to continue the hatred, and to also awaken anti-Semitism, which is a tool, by the way. Anti-Semitism is a tool that the Cabal, the dark forces, I don't want to call them Illuminati because they're not illuminated, the elites, they've been using this tool many, many, many times. Every time that there was a shift, every time that people asked too many questions, every time they wanted to distract the masses from something, okay, let's turn on the anti-Semitism program and blame everything on the Jews. Why? Because the Jews are one of the smallest minorities on the planet, and they have the audacity to be successful, to be a successful minority. That is why. So they kind of like steer it, like, but in reality, from the spiritual sense, like I spoke in my other videos, the Jewish people actually have the spiritual responsibility in this world, whether they know it or not. A lot of people do know that, to hold the light. We are the light keepers. And so, this is not about religion. I want you to take your mind off of religion. I'm not religious. I don't believe in religion. I am waiting for the day for all religions to die. But this specific group of people, the Israelites, their job was always to hold the light codes for humanity. And also that is why the land of Israel was always theirs, and they came back to Israel after World War II, because their job was to protect the portals on the land of Israel. I also spoke about this in my other video. So many of the images and videos coming out of Gaza are fake. And I can tell you this, I have no problem saying this online. You know me, and you know, again, I don't want to go into politics, but this is just truth. It's truth. And it's already proven. There's videos, there's proof over there that they have like a Hollywood, we call it Gazawood, like, and it's they basically fake blood on children, and they fake all the scenery, and they have like actors that play the same role. It's insanity. It's absolutely insanity. So like most of the stuff you see out of Gaza is lies, and it's a movie. It's a movie. I really recommend for you to watch, if you haven't yet, Out of the Shadows. It's a documentary that really explains the connection with Hollywood and CIA, and how we are being brainwashed constantly in the news and everything like that. So just to kind of open your mind a little bit to see that not everything you see on the news is truth. Just FYI. They stage most of their attacks with fake blood, fake injuries, and fake dead bodies, and then you see the bodies kind of come to life. Like, they covered the bodies, and like we in Israel, we laugh about it already because we know this is something we live with for like 20-30 years already, and we know this, but we never did anything because we just let it go. But now we can't let it go. Now, after what they've done, there's no more silence, and there's no more playing the good guy. We're not going to be good guys anymore. We have been the good guys, which is so ironic because the whole world thinks we're the bad guys, but we're the good guys. And it's like, again, look at it as a story. It's in a few years, all the truth is going to fully be out. And then the people that chose this timeline of the darkness are going to feel very ridiculous with themselves. But it doesn't matter. I just wanted to have my own personal opinion for a second. All right, but let's get back into the talk. So anger at Israel at this point, what it does is fuels Hamas, fuels violence, right? And we can see that in the world. We can see it's literally people are possessed. People are just possessed by violence and anger. Because why? Because once you choose to support Hamas, which literally holds the frequency of pure violence, you have an agreement with the dark forces, and you are aligning yourself, your energy, your body, your mind, your emotions with that. So that's what you become, and we can see it very, very clearly. So it fuels the egregore of hate and bloodshed that they have been just fueling for years and feeling for years. A lot of people now, I mean, there's so many levels and layers of what's happening right now. I can talk for days and hours, but I mean, I do see that a lot of people who chose the dark forces chose it because they're so afraid. It's coming out of deep fear. It's coming out of a place of like, okay, I'm seeing these dark forces are really, really scary, because they are. Like, they're the most dangerous forces we've seen so far, the Islamic world, that are embodied now within Islamic, people. Not all of them, of course, but they're so afraid. So subconsciously, they're telling to themselves, because they're so traumatized, they're telling to themselves, if I support the darkness, then they won't hurt me. Then I'll be one of them and I'll be good. That's kind of like the subconscious thing. People are not aware of it consciously. But that's very, very wrong, because this darkness sees no one and nothing. This is why I'm sorry, I have to laugh about it, but allow me to have a moment of laughter in this fucking chaos. The Queers for Palestine movement. I'm sorry. They will behead you and rape you and kill you in endless ways if you walk in the streets of Gaza holding this sign, being a gay. So there's so much irony in what's happening right now. I'm sorry, I really do need a moment of laughter sometimes, because I'm just emotionally, we all are so much. So many of the light workers are feeling it now very strongly. All right, so again, this is called chaos magic, right? What they're doing with the propaganda and the lies and the manipulation, like blaming everything on Israel, when it's really, Hamas's fault and their fault and their own fault for creating their own reality. It's kind of like this is again, and you see also it's the same. That's why they're aligned with a lot of the woke people, a lot of these people who don't take responsibility and accountability for themselves. And that's why they're aligning with Hamas and Gaza, because it's the same thing. People in Gaza never took responsibility, never take accountability. They always in a victim mode. They always blame. They always, oh, poor me, poor me. Well, they're doing it to themselves, right? So, and then blaming someone else. It's a very, very distorted mentality. And it's a mentality. It's a way of life. And so you really have to look at that. You have to look how they treat their children, how they treat their women. This is very, very important. It's all coming to, you have to have all these pieces in your picture. And so the people that also have the same mentality of being a victim and, I'm not successful, not because I don't work and I don't do my own thing and I don't evolve, but because of you. Like, you're the fault. Like the Jews, in this case, it's always the Jews. It's like, you're the fault that I'm not successful. So that's the kind of people that we see on the dark side right now. It's that kind of mindset that attracts like. And then on the other side, we see the Israelites. We see light workers. We see people who maybe they're not consciously aware that they're light workers, but they are, because they take their responsibility. It's like, okay, we see so many Jewish people. We see so many Israel people. We see so many people that are not even Israeli and Jewish. They're really going deep and like, okay, we understand that this is a shift. Like, where can we take the responsibility on creating more love in the world, creating more truth, being a light warrior, protecting, serving. I'm gonna do another video on the divine masculine that's rising now, because it's so beautiful. I mean, we've seen the most horrific, disgusting shadow of the masculine right now with Hamas and Gaza. But we also, I see it at least, and I know my sisters, we talk and they see it too. We also see such a beautiful, fast rising of the divine masculine in so many men, in men that step up to protect, to fully protect, which is what the divine masculine does, to speak the truth and protect. It's just so beautiful to me. I mean, if as a woman, I can tell you, with all the fear that the dark masculine has managed to affect me, I mean, looking and focusing on this divine masculine that's rising in men, it just fills me with joy. So thank you, men who are holding the divine masculine right now, whether you know it or not. And thank you for all the brave warriors that are protecting our children and women. I'm so grateful for you. All right. So let me continue. So again, I was talking about the chaos magic of the lies and propaganda. which creates easily more soldiers, like more dark soldiers for the dark legions, for the dark forces around the world. And we see it's happening around the world, which are just regular people, but again, they manage to harness their life force, possess them really quickly, and create more legions of this hate, of this energy, and spread it out. This is why they started this war, and this is why they kill their own civilians, of course, and then blame Israel for it. Again, to cause more of the anti-Semitism and hate, kill, this energy. And I just want to say something quickly. I know that this is what also the media is trying to feed a lot for us right now in our consciousness, but trust me, there's so much more people of light. It seems like the dark forces have taken over and the masses, and like there's more people of darkness. Trust me, there are so many more people of light, and it's not, our power is not in numbers. Our power is in how much we can hold this light in unity together. So I'm just so grateful. So, and again, and like I said in the other video, hold a vision of the highest timeline we want, not focus on this shit show. This horrible attack, which was a blood sacrifice ritual on the state of Israel, which is, again, it's a portal, it's a sacred land, it's a portal, happened in Shabbat, which is the seventh day of the 23rd day on the Hebrew month of Tishrei. Okay, it's like a little I don't know how you say gematria. No, it's not geometry. Anyway, it's like a understanding the dates and the numbers and blah, 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 but we'll go into it. So I'm not a religious woman, like I said. I don't believe in religion, but because of my knowledge in the occults, I know the origins of magic and spells. And the Bible itself is a spell book. Like the Jewish religion came from magic. And then you have Christianity, which took a lot of, Judaism, and then you have Islam, which took from everyone and then distorted it completely. But what I do love about Judaism is it's the only religion that still holds the original codes of light in the universe. Again, it was still distorted. Men, of course, will turn it into a shit show as well with the dark masculine force. But it still does hold that energy. And we can still go deep and study the magical symbols and spells from that Bible. And so the Hebrew Bible is, again, it's the only Bible that really kept the original codes of the universe before they were manipulated and tainted by the dark masculine. So this is what the verse says in the portion of the week when the attack happened, the same week. Okay, so every week in the Jewish tradition has a portion, and it teaches the energy. It's kind of like astrology, but way deeper, and it teaches the energies and the lessons, the spiritual lessons that we go through in that week, right? So in that week's portion, the word Hamas, I think it showed up like a few times, maybe 7 times. I'm going to say it in Hebrew first. עשה הרתוק כי הארץ מלאה משפט דמים והעיר מלאה חמאס. Okay, so basically it says that the land was full of blood, justice. I'm translating it directly, but I'm going to try to kind of like explain it. So that the land, the Israel land, was filled with blood. I call it sacrificial ritual, but it's kind of like here it says like a trial. It's kind of like loosely translated to a trial. And the city was full of Hamas, which means the city was full of violence. Like this is literally the week's portion of October 7th. And in another translation it means make the chain or / hostage, for the land is full of crimes of bloodshed and the city is full of violence, right? So we had a lot of hostages, city was full of violence. The dark forces have been using the most evil chaos magic on us for a long time, but especially since October 7th. And again, I really recommend to watch Out of the Shadows, because this is chaos magic, using the news and propaganda and like movies and Hollywood. Again, this is part of chaos magic, to distort the human consciousness on a deep subconscious level and creating karma and deep trauma in our subconscious mind. It is astonishing that all eyes on the world are on Israel, right? Like it is, if this would happen, if this October 7th attack would happen in any other country, there would be no debate on who the bad guy is. There would be no debate. Like, if people would do that to other people in America, in Germany, in Spain, in Mexico, whatever, there would be no debate at all. But Israel and the Jewish people have always been special, again, because they are the light keepers. And when you're a pillar of light, you have to see everyone around, which is in the darkness, is going to look at that pillar of light, right? It's not that they're better, right? I know in the past people thought that the term the chosen ones means that we're better. No, it's not. It means that we just have the extra responsibility and burden to hold that light for the world. And when that happens, the light looks like, everyone looks at the light because it's just there, like the light is there. So this is something I will get into later, maybe in other videos if you want, I don't know. So although we have been divided races, I know that each race and tribe on the planet is different and unique. And that is a huge gift, I believe. If we could all appreciate and protect the unique codes that each race and group of people hold, and really appreciate the sacredness and the beauty within our differences. Those we call Jews and Israelites have always held very specific, vital codes for humanity that are almost like light keepers. Like I said, they're light keepers. They have the capability to protect humanity from the most evil, dark forces. I mean, I can tell you for myself, I was born in Israel. I was born to a Jewish family. Again, I'm not religious, but I have always battled the dark forces. I know I'm also like a very unique alien on the planet, but there is a reason I feel that I've been chosen to do this specific work, and I was born, and my soul chose to be born into that tribe, on that land, because I needed the specific powers and information and codes so that I can have the tools to face and see and battle this darkness that we are facing in our timeline right now. And I've done this my whole life. So we're talking about Jewish and Israelites holding this light to protect humanity from the evil dark forces. And they have forgotten who they are, the Israelites and the Jews, because the dark forces, the dark wizards, which I always talk about, which people call the Cabal or the Illuminati or whatever, have made sure that we all forget who we are. Now, no wonder all the world looks at Israel and that the tiny sliver of land have always caused so much turmoil all around the globe. It is because the codes held by Jews are vital for the entire of humanity. Now, let's look at the irony of this war that is happening in many levels now, by the way. I'm going to do another video on all the levels that this war is happening in. And this is not just a war between Israel and Hamas, but of the light forces with the Jewish people. The Jewish people hold the light codes, the codes of light, and between the darkness, the pure demonic forces, which have hijacked many people in Gaza as well as other places around the world. And of course, those who serve them, known as, again, the Cabal, whatever assholes they are. But I call them the dark wizards because they have been using black magic against humanity for a very long time. If you read my book that I literally published a few days before this attack, it's called The Last Priestess. It tells the story, the tale of the fall of the temple of Isis and Lilith, and the kind of the fall of the divine feminine, where then all this shit started to happen. So it kind of like, it will awaken the truth in you if you read this book. It will trigger the true light codes in you if you read it. And again, because this whole up in 2023, 2024, I'm not making anything on it. I lowered it to the lowest price on Amazon because I dedicate it to my sisters who've been brutally raped and attacked and murdered by the Hamas. Okay. So, and look, I want you to like really see the how everything is distorted. So just a quick example, Hamas shoots a rocket on Gaza hospital, on their own hospital, using their own civilians as human shields, and will not let them leave for a safe space, hiding in civilians' home, like putting guns under children's beds, but it's Israel's fault, right? Hamas slaughtered, raped, tortured, and kidnapped thousands of people, but all eyes blame Israel. When Israel tries to fight back to protect itself, it's Israel's fault. This is like a toxic relationship with a psychotic narcissist. Okay, and the thing is, we as Israelis, we've been in this relationship for a very long time. We know. And the issue is that we've been in this relationship for 75 years, okay? They kill, attack, bomb buses in public areas, and then play the victim and blame us. So this is like, it's happening over and over and over again. Oh, look, the church bells are playing in the background. Okay. So they lie and manipulate the truth, and everyone around believes their acts while they keep being violent and dangerous, gloating on the pain of others. They've been celebrating in the streets when our women have been raped and murdered and our children and our babies beheaded. They were celebrating. It shows you the mentality of someone. It really does. No matter what Israel does, even if it's still now even trying to help the civilians in Gaza, like literally to get out while the Hamas is shooting at them, we are still to blame. So imagine you moved out of your toxic ex's house long ago, but he still comes to your home, beats you up, and then tells all your friends to tell them it's your fault, and they believe him because he's such a great liar and he knows how to manipulate people's emotions. And then after he tried to kill you, he blames you for not having water and electricity, even though you don't even live there anymore. I'm sorry, I just had to do this because it's so ridiculous. And I think that people don't believe this because it's so ridiculous. Like people just like, they can't believe it, so they again blame Israel because it's the easy. It's the people also follow the. It's really ugly to see. It's been really ugly to see how people choose to follow and to support not what's right, not what's true, but what's the latest hashtag, what's the latest trend, what's the latest fashion. It's absolutely disgusting to me, and I see it as we have reached a very low point in humanity with this generation, that this is what they do. So, all right. So you're with this toxic partner, and even though you have all the scars on your body showing you how he cut you open and hit you, everyone yells at you because the poor guy has no water and shower. But he raped you, but he has no water and shower. Sounds absurd, right? Yeah, this is the low reality we're facing right now. After raping and burning babies alive, one baby was found in the oven. I don't know if you guys heard about it. And it's just so like while his mom is being raped and killed next to him. It's just things that are they don't sound real. They're so evil, they don't sound real. And I think that a lot of people choose darkness consciously, but this is very sick. Okay. This is pure gaslighting, okay? To a maximum level of our collective consciousness, triggering even deeper trauma for everyone, but especially the Jews all around the world who have to feel the ancestral trauma of the Holocaust and many other generations before that, of the haters who wanted to kill us all throughout time, while needing to defend our right to live and defend ourselves from those who seek to destroy us. It's wow. So I watched a video with Jordan Peterson. He actually has very intelligent conversations about this Israel-Gaza situation. He explained this horrific anti-Semitism in a very simple way. Jews are a minority. I mean, he's going to explain it better than I am. I'm just kind of repeating his words. Jews are a minority, but they are a very successful minority. So no matter how much atrocities they've been through, they bounce back fast, right? We don't play the victim for like 100 years. If we would have played a victim now from the Holocaust, we couldn't, like, imagine Israeli people now walking around saying, Germany, what did you do to us? All German people are horrible. I got so many fucking amazing German friends. Like, we go to Germany all the time. Germany comes to Israel. We party together. We love each other. Germany, they're amazing people. They took the ownership. They took the responsibility for what they did. And they're protecting that power now. And like, it's beautiful to see. But when you have a race of people, a group of people who are living, constantly feeding their own victimhood, that is very dangerous. Okay, so again, the Jewish people are a successful minority. And the mindset is something most people cannot even understand, and they're jealous of subconsciously because it causes deep rage in people who cannot do this, right? who are too weak to be accountable and responsible for their own path. So they blame those who are very responsible or very successful. For those who choose to remain, like those who choose to remain in the victim mentality, they're gonna always want to blame the one who is more successful than them. Also, he explains, Jordan Peterson, how when bad things happen and the cabal needs to deflect the attention from what is really going on, it is always easy, again, to use the Jews as a focal point and to distract everyone. And there are a lot of things happening right now behind the scenes, except for this war. There's so many genocides happening all around the world. There's so many horrific things happening in Yemen, in Syria, like in Ukraine, and the cabal is planning the next fucking shit show for us. But this is the distraction. This is the distraction. Like, let's blame the Jews. All right. So, I mean, if you haven't noticed, I mean, in the last few years, people have started questioning more and more the powers that were. I call them the powers that were because they have no power anymore. It's just an illusion that they're still in power, the cabal, especially after the Maui fires. The Maui fires, gosh, we can go down that rabbit hole. So this was a very simple tactic that worked for many generations. Again, let's blame the Jews. And people fall into it easily because those who feel powerless will want to find an easy scapegoat to blame and all their troubles on, like blame all their troubles on. And also the fact that they're not successful on someone else that is successful, like I said, instead of taking their own responsibility. It just shows us how so many humans always choose to live in that like victimhood, that inner wounded child, and don't choose to grow up, don't choose to evolve. There is a theme in Hamas, Gaza, Palestinian people, and those who now follow them, right, is that there is no responsibility or accountability for who they are in their personal lives as well as a collective. There's like, just pay attention to that. They have the illusion of freedom fighters, right? They call themselves freedom fighters, which is the most ironic thing in the world, when in fact they are feeding the same beast who wants to take away all freedom from everyone. Not a coincidence that, you know, again, I said this before, many of the Gen Z, the generation who is so easily offended by everything, they're just always offended and cannot take accountability for themselves. And, you know, they're going to go online and like cry about someone calling them a she instead of a he or a they, or, you know, they're also blaming the whole world and being a victim. They're a great match to the energy and the codes that Hamas has now spread all around the world. Now, let me be clear. Pro-Palestinian, to be a pro-Palestinian right now in this stage show of our human story is to be pro-Hamas, is to support violence, and is to support demonic entities. If you are truly pro-Palestinian, if you truly care about the people in Gaza, you will support Israel, because Israel is the only one right now, the only one who is actually helping the people, the physical, actual people, the children, the women, the people in Gaza. I want you to know this. And you will go against Hamas. So again, supporting Gaza is to support genocide of the Jewish people. There is no genocide in Gaza, but they always plan on having a genocide of the Jewish people. And again, it's spreading all around the world now. I still remind you to keep the light, to hold highest vibration, and to choose the highest timeline when there's peace and there's love and there's unity between all people. Because although we're still seeing this darkness, it doesn't mean that we're on the timeline. Okay, so you can choose your timeline right now. So again, going back to the spell, right? So repeating words like free Palestine or from the river to the sea, which no one who actually shouts that know what that means. Like they don't, like you ask them which river, they don't know. You know, so saying that it's repeating a spell. All right, repeating, it's a spell that feeds the demonic forces that seek to destroy humanity at large. It is a spell of hate. You just have to look at a again, like I said before, look at a Palestinian rally and an Israeli rally, and you can feel the differences in the people's energy, in the mindset, in their hearts. Here you have people who are completely disconnected from each other, and here you have people who are just unified in their love, also in their sadness and in their grief, but in their love and hope, because there is always hope. I mean, the anthem of Israel literally is called hope, like a tikva. It's a very beautiful, very spiritual song. Okay, so I'm gonna just finish with this. What I am seeing right now in the world, and I know that there are a few out there of you, and write me in the comments if you are, because I want to connect with, like, I want to know that I'm not alone in this. I definitely talk to my soul family and a few of my sisters who see the same like I am. And what I'm seeing are zombies. This is the real zombie apocalypse that we've been programmed to kind of like wait for in our timeline. They're repeating empty slogans that don't know nothing they're talking about. They're repeating spells they don't understand. I see weakness, I see fear, I see victimhood. I see a group of people who sold their soul to the actual devil in the name of the illusionary freedom. All right, people who think that they're fighting for a good cause, but they're feeding the monster who is coming for them, who's coming to kill them. The evil we are facing now is not only the physical people who seek death and control all over the world, but also the demons who have taken over their bodies, and the few dark wizards who serve these demons and will stop at nothing to achieve their goals. But just the fact that they have goals, just the fact that they have a plan, doesn't mean that they will succeed. We can choose our timeline now. We have the power. They're feeding off of our life force. So we take our life force back and we claim it. This is still a story unfolding, and we choose who we want to be in the story. We are not just pawns in their game. We are the ones with the power. They need our life force and consent to this timeline. So don't consent, and we take back control on our life again and on our true freedom. I will do another video maybe on consent if you guys want, because I really feel like this is the time to break all contracts that we might have had with the darkness at some point in time, and to say, I do not consent to this. I do not consent to this timeline. I do not consent to this reality. Okay, I love you guys. I am a priestess of the temple. I am a servant of the mother. I will always be the voice of my sisters and children everywhere. And I pray for the awakening of all Israelites, all the light workers all over the world. I love you.